Russia, its largest subdivision is Sakha, which nearly 3.1 billion km², would be the 8th largest country on Earth if it were to become its own independent country. Number 10. Bhutan is a peaceful country nestled away within the Himalayas. It's a country that famously measures its progress by GNH, that's gross national happiness, as opposed to GDP. Around 3/4 of its population are Buddhist. They tend to live a way of life that respects mindfulness, harmony, and peace. However, in 2019, in its most recent participation, the country ranked 95th out of 156 countries in the World Happiness Ranking Index. So take that index with a pinch of salt. The index focuses on more modern quality of life elements rather than actual day-to-day happiness of the inhabitants. Number 11. So China is somewhat seen as a rather non-religious country. Around 52% of its population identify as atheist. That's not to say that many people don't follow certain religions in the country. For example, an estimated 2% of the population is said to be Christian, a rather insignificant amount, right? Well, remember, China's population is around 1.4 billion, meaning 2% equates to around 27 million people. That's more than the entire population of Australia. If China's 2% Christian population formed their own country, they'd be around the 54th most populated country on Earth. Number 12. This is Indiana, the 38th largest state in the U.S. It's home to around 6.9 million people and has a GDP of roughly $500 billion. That's pretty impressive for a relatively small state, right? Well, what's even crazier is that Indiana's economy is actually larger than the entire GDP of the Philippines, Vietnam, or Bangladesh, countries with populations of 115,100 and 170 million people respectively. Now, this isn't to downplay those three economies. They're all developing nations and growing at a solid pace. It's more about highlighting the sheer wealth of the U.S. and how even a smallish state like Indiana packs such an economic punch. Number 13. All right, this has to be one of the most counterintuitive facts of the video. Alaska is both the US's most eastern SL western state, but how exactly? Well, it's because part of Alaska crosses a line called the 18th meridian, which splits the world into east and west. This means that a tiny part of Alaska is technically in the eastern hemisphere, making it the most eastern state even though it's way out west on most maps. This means that Alaska stretches further into the west than Hawaii does, and one that doesn't really make sense until you double check it on a world map. Number 14. This is San Marino, one of the smallest countries on Earth in terms of population and land size. Its population is around 33,500, yet unbelievably, there are estimated to be 54,000 road vehicles in the country. That's 1.6 per person, the highest on Earth. For reference, the U.S., which is a very car-centric country, has a rate about half of San Marino's. The reason why San Marino vehicle per capita is so high is because it's a rather wealthy hilly country with limited public transport, meaning cars are almost essential for its residents. So we've now reached the halfway point with number 15. Now, this is quite a commonly spoken about fun geography fact as it defies all logic, but I'm sure if you asked 100 random people on the street who France's longest borders with pretty much no one guess it correctly, most people would likely guess Spain, Belgium, or maybe even Italy if their geography knowledge isn't up to scratch. However, it is in fact Brazil, as French Guiana is a department of the French found in northeast South America. Their border runs some 730 kilometers, which is over 100 kilometers longer than its border with Spain. Number 16. The closest point of Earth's land to space is the summit of a mountain that doesn't even rank in the top 100 tallest mountains on Earth. Mount Chimborazo stands at some 6,200 m tall, about 1,000 m shorter than the 100 tallest mountain. However, due to Mount Chimborazo's location and what is known as Earth's bulge, the mountain protrudes out towards space further than any other point on Earth, so whoever the tallest person to summer this mountain is could technically be classed as the closest human to space whilst touching the Earth's land.